Hello, and welcome to Planstreet. My name is Brian, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about the child and family services industry and to show a little bit how Planstreet can help streamline those processes, digitize the information, and provide you more time with your clients. So the first thing that you see when you come into the system is the case summary board. So this is a list of all the active cases that you have in the system. And we'll point out here that there is a tab for the active clients, which are the ones that you're actively working with, your archived clients, which are ones that you've previously worked with but you want to keep in the system in case they return or you need to do historical reporting. And then the applicants, which are the new clients that are coming into the system. So along with that, we'll also talk about caseworkers, which are your co-workers and people using the system. We will talk about scheduler, we will talk about reports, and we'll talk about forms, because these are some of the main features that will assist you in your daily activities. So when we talk about clients, we need to get clients into the system. So there's a couple of ways to do that. You can use our form building tool, which I'll show you in a minute, to create either a referral form or an intake form that you can then either email to people so that they can fill it out. You can post a link to it on a website, or you can manually fill out the form yourself. All of those things will create an applicant in the system. So once an applicant comes in the system, you can review their information, make sure everything is filled out correctly, and then bring them in as an active client. Once they're an active client, that's when you can assign caseworkers, you can assign case boards and things like that. So that's what we're going to start talking about now. So the first thing I want to talk about is the form building tool. So let's go and look at forms. When we talk about anything in the public service industry, everything is controlled by forms. So Planstreet gives you the ability to create your own forms. You can replicate paper forms that you already have, for example, and bring them in electronically, and then save those forms and use them either at the case board level or as an applicant, or to send them out to have them filled out electronically. The form building tool is pretty simple. You go through and you just simply drag components over here and create the form that you want, and then once you save it, they get stored over here in My Forms. And here you can see a few examples of some forms that were created with the tool. You can go through and see you have date controls, you have note sections, you can provide grids so that you can add more than one piece of information to it. We also provide electronic signatures and things like that. So once these are created, you also have the ability to go through. I can go through, for example, and I want to send this to somebody via email. I can go through and select a client. For example, if this was something I needed them additionally to fill out, I could go and select a client and send this to them electronically so they could fill it out. When they do, it does come back into the document section of their case. You can also get the link. For example, if I wanted to embed this into a website so somebody could go to the website and fill it out. Again, the same process would occur. The system validates on the email address and routes it to their case if they exist. So now let's go and take a look at an actual case. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to open up, just simply double click on a name. And that's going to take me to their case board. So we can see we can come into case details and review the intake or the referral application that they filled out. We can go through here and see that information. If I need to make changes, I can come in here to edit that. Along here is where I can also go in and assign my template. I can select who is an owner or not an owner of the case simply by checking the boxes. Same thing with teams. If I want to assign specific teams, if I break my employees up into, let's say, there's internal team, external team, or mental health, physical health, nutrition, however it is that makes sense for your organization. People can be assigned to various teams, and then you apply those to the individual cases. And then since we are talking about family services, you can also come in here if you have more than one person in the system that are in a family, but you're also treating them as individual cases. You can come in here and link that simply by coming in and selecting the other case and then entering a relationship in there. So for example, if this was their father, then I just hit enter. I can come down and I can save that. And then when I go and look in the case summary grid, you'll be able to see that relationship there. So what I want to look at right now is the case board. So the case board is where you have your programs and your activities that you are working with each individual client. So here you can see a couple of activities that have already been assigned under the Welcome In baseline. One of those is, like, for example, a documents review. And if we open this up, we'll take a look at it. We can see there's a couple of forms that have been attached to this activity. It's been assigned to a couple of different caseworkers. It looks like a couple of these forms have already been filled out. We can go in here. If those have been filled out, we can go and look at the document section. And this is where we'll be able to see those actual documents. So we can open these up. We have the ability to share it with other team members. We can email it to the client. We can rename it. We can go and look at the preview. We can open it up and take a look at it, see what information was filled out. And then if we need a paper copy of it, we can always print that out as well. But everything else will always be stored electronically here within the system. Additionally, if I need to upload something from my computer, if I have some previous information for the client, you can upload directly into the case just by clicking add and browsing to the folder, just like, you know, any regular computer upload application. And so this way, all the documents are electronic. The system is on an Azure cloud, so it is backed up and it is redundant, so all of your information is protected. The other great thing about this system is that since it is cloud-based, as long as you have access to the internet, you have the ability to access all of your files. So whether you're working in the office or you're working at home, or maybe you're working on site at a client's residence, you have full access to their case, you have full access to their documents, and you can do anything that you need to do. So going on, let's look further. So we've got our cases. They've been run the system. We've assigned some activities to some people. So let's see what happens on that regard. So when we go and look at my activities, these are the activities that have been assigned to you. So, you know, for example, in a caseworker situation where they don't have access to the full client case board, they only see the activities that you've assigned them. So when I log into the system, I can see, okay, these are all the activities that I need to do. I don't currently have anything in progress, and I've completed these. I have the ability to come over here and filter by specific case if I want to look at just one person, or I can leave it to see everything that I need done. To start working on something, they simply drag this over. They can open it up here, do all the same things they need to do. If they want to post comments or post case notes here, they can do that. If they need to fill out forms, they can do that. If they need to attach documents, they want to mark off that they've done specific things on a checklist, or if they want to post a comment saying, you know, this is complete, and they can go through and save that. And then when they're finished, if they want to record time, if you're tracking time against activities, they can come to the specific activity, say I spent 3 hours on it, and they can say, you know, completed forms or whatever it was that they worked on, save and close that. And then they simply drag it over to done. And so you can see, since we're a little bit past the 14th, this one's actually flagged as being completed but delayed, which is fine. So now that this has been completed, that will update the case board, so the case manager will see that that activity has been completed, and they can move on with the next steps or assign the next activities. For the individual worker, they've recorded their time, so if you are tracking time, you can come down here into timesheets, and they can create they can come in and they can create a time card. So whether you're doing timesheets or work log, you can record time either way. They can come in, let's say it's time for them to make a new one. They open it up, they pull up the cases that they've worked on, go through here. I can record time against this. I spent 1 hour here. Let's say I spent 2 hours here. You can see it gives you a total. And then when it's time for me to submit it, I can simply submit this timesheet, and that'll go to my approver, and they can review it. And, you know, from there they can accept it, reject it, ask me to make changes, whatever the process is that makes sense for you. So we've got our cases in the system. We've gone over some of the forms and how they can be kept electronically. You can reproduce paper forms so that you can continue to work the way that you were, but now everything is electronic. You might need to go in and probably do some reports against the system. So the system does have reporting capabilities. You can come in here and format it, put your header in there, whatever you want to do. If you want to select some graph templates. There's several different versions that are already in here for you to select from. And you can also do matrix reports, which is just pulling mostly just textual information back, as well as report on the forms that you've created. So if you do a survey, for example, you can report against the, like question number 5, for example. All that can be done through here. You can go through and select clients. You can select all of your clients, or just individual clients if you want, what particular details from an intake you're wanting to do, any of that stuff, and then you can just create the report. And then once the report is created, you can pin that. And if you pin them to the dashboard, they're here for you, whether it's a graph dashboard or a matrix dashboard, so that you can review those later. And again, those are also all exportable to PDF or Excel should you need to. So we've talked a little bit about the cases. We've talked about the My Activities. We've gone over a little bit about documents, timesheets, and reports. I want to talk to you briefly about the scheduler. So this is similar to any shared calendar that you've seen before. You have the ability in here to come in and create a new appointment. You can come in and share calendars with individuals if you like. You can set appointments for your clients. So that way, if you have a meeting with a client tomorrow, you can set up the appointment. They'll get a notification, at 6 p.m. the day before to let them know. You can also expose this on the client portal for them so that they can go into the system and see their own schedule to help keep them up to date with appointments and things like that, whether it be doctor's visits, counseling sessions, whatever it is that you might be scheduling there. So hopefully going through here, we've been able to show you some of the key features of the system and how it can help you speed up your processes, streamline your processes, store everything digitally so you can keep everything contained within a case. Everything's there at your fingertips, and provide you greater opportunity and more time to spend with your individual clients instead of organization and tracking down files and things like that. So if you'd like more information on the system and how Planstreet might be able to help you, please don't hesitate to contact us, and I'll talk with you soon. Thank you.